Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm in the office Saturday afternoon. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Hope the weather's nice where you are, although I doubt it. I saw some national weather and it looks like it's pretty crappy everywhere except for here in the south. It's 75, going to be probably 77 degrees today. It'll be 80, 81 tomorrow. It's going to be pool weather. I just put some chlorine in the pool. I want to talk about crowds. Douglas Murray, one of my favorite British intellectuals, wrote a book called The Madness of Crowds. And there's a lot of theory about group theory. And I've been studying this stuff because it's an aspect of societal manipulation. And the more you understand how you're being manipulated, the less you fall for it. So this French dude, Gustave Le Bon, wrote a book called The Crowd. I believe that's what it's called, The Crowd. The Nature of Crowds, or The Crowd, or something like that. It was written in 1859, and it's kind of a step-by-step manual how to manipulate groups. A crowd of people isn't just any random group on a street corner. Think of a protest, a rally, a union meeting, a church meeting. Anywhere you have a group of people that are meeting for some sort of purpose, a concert, there's all kinds of crowds. Well, within a crowd, you can easily lose rationality. And when that happens, you can become destructive or self-destructive. You have this anonymity in a crowd. You feel less responsible for your actions in a crowd, less inhibitions. It's easier for you to commit bad actions. And you see this with some of these smash and grab robberies that you see at department stores. 50 kids will run in and just start taking stuff. Any one of those kids wouldn't dare commit that crime by themselves. It's the crowd that gives them the anonymity, the safety. And when you all go masked up, hoodied up, and run in, it's hard to catch everybody. It's a good chance you'll get away. You can be easily influenced by the crowd because of that anonymity. And be thrust into an emotional state that maybe you wouldn't normally be in. It's the crowd that got you that way. It's funny about crowds because it is rather cultish. The crowd can be looked at like a cult. And very often they'll suspend reality in order to believe fantasy, conspiracy, nonsense. Because remember, we said that in crowds it's easy to lose all rationality. So if somebody tries to destroy your illusion in the crowd's illusion, the narrative of that group, you instantly become the enemy because you're going against the message. Within a crowd, you will always be unconscious and barbaric. It's because when you're alone, you're an individual. And you can think for yourself. And when you're in a crowd, you're a barbarian who acts upon instinct. You're an animal when you're in a crowd. You're easily swayed by rhetoric. The crowd becomes a contagion. And every sentiment and every act becomes contagious. You become hypnotized by the crowd if you're immersed too long, swept up in the moment. Go riot, burn down buildings, smash down statues, And see how many people are crying the next day when they get exposed for their bad actions. Or when they end up in jail and they say, oh, I didn't mean it, I didn't mean it. Why'd you do it? You're swept up in the crowd. You may have had this conversation with your teenager who did something bad, and you ask him, if they all jumped off a building, would you jump off with them? And you know what the answer is? He probably would. Oh, when he's alone and you're scolding him, he may say, no, I'm sorry. But when he's with the group, he would. I would say like a lemming. But you know that movie that Disney put out, it was in the 50s, about lemmings running off a cliff. They don't really do that. They forced those lemmings off the cliff for that movie. Disney lied to you. The crowd never seems to thirst for truth. The crowd seems to thrive on lies. The truth gets you thinking as an individual. The truth will disperse the crowd. The lie keeps the crowd together. There's a weird hero worship found in crowds. You're meaningless. You're nothing. What do you know? You have to look to one person and idolize them. There's a false idolatry always found in crowds. There's the leader, the president, the hero, the warrior king, the one we're all looking at for the next move, for the next message. The person to throw that first stone so we can all start throwing them. I don't know. It's all food for thought.